Hey everyone, it's Kothis, and it's time to do part 2 of the Crafting Everything series. Part 2 is going to be everything raid weapon related. And yeah, I know not everyone can just go in and run raids every day. Maybe you've never even run a raid. I'm here to tell you that you can do it. Most mechanics in raids are very easy to understand once broken down. Shameless plug, but my Discord community is growing and we've already taken players who have never run a raid through King's Fall, Deepstone Crypt, and Vow of the Disciple now. We really would love to help you, so join up if you want help running these raids. All that to say is whether you find a team through my Discord or one of the many other LFG methods, you can do it with enough patience. And it's totally fine if you mess up while learning it. We all did at some point. Anyone who kicks you from a raid team for making simple mistakes is not anyone you should be worried about. They just aren't worth your time. Now, it is a different story if you're intentionally not listening, but you get the point. Alright, encouraging rant out of the way, let's get right into the actual video. So just like part 1 of the Crafting Everything series, let's recap some basic stuff that will apply to every section in this video. That way we don't have to go over the same topics multiple times. First, none of the weapons in this video will be sunset when Lightfall comes out. These are here to stay for a long time, so don't worry about being on a time crunch here, but these are really good weapons and you should probably get them. Also, for every weapon in this video, you will need 5 deep sight variants, or we'll just call them red borders in this video, of a weapon to unlock its pattern. With pattern meaning blueprint. Let's say you find 5 Doom of Chelchis red borders. Now you can craft it. 5 Forbearance red borders, you can craft it. Alright, you get it. And as I mentioned, you do want to craft weapons if possible. Being able to just go in and make a god roll is pretty crazy. And not to mention, the ability to add enhanced traits makes crafted weapons objectively better than non-crafted weapons, even if it's only by a small amount. Next, every legendary weapon in the entire game, no matter what source it comes from, has about a 10 to 15% chance at being a red border weapon. So every raid drop, same thing, if you get a weapon, it's a small chance at being a red border. Obviously the goal here for these 3 raids is to maximize the amount of drops we get to increase our chances of getting red borders to drop. You can run raids as many times as you want and still get loot from every single encounter, which is kind of cool. Alright, ready to get confused for a second? Even though there are currently 6 raids in the game, all with the ability to drop red border weapons, only 3 of these raids allow you to craft their weapons. I know this is confusing. So that's why in this video we are only covering the raids Vow of the Disciple, Deepstone Crypt, and King's Fall, since they allow you to craft their weapons. I'd assume at some point every raid will get the crafted weapon makeover treatment, but for now we just have these 3. Moving on, every raid also contains secret chests. These chests function the same throughout every raid, and they will only drop items that you've already found in the raid, and can also only be opened once per week per character. Raids will also have weekly rotating challenges tied to different encounters. Every raid has these challenges, and they can be viewed in the destination screen when you select the raid. You'll see the text "A challenge awaits" along with the name of that challenge. Just Google the challenge to see what it actually is, since the name doesn't outright tell you how to do it. Completing these challenges will award you with an additional chest once you complete the encounter that challenge is tied to. It's totally optional to do these challenges, but it is an additional chest opportunity. Legacy raids, or as it is right now, any raid that is not King's Fall, this will change once Lightfall comes out, are on a weekly rotating schedule to where they will appear as a pinnacle raid. This is identified by the pinnacle gear drop icon along with the golden star icon. This means that not only will the raid drop you a pinnacle gear item once the final boss is defeated, but it will also allow you to complete every single challenge the raid has to offer, all in 1 week. So what this means is basically way more drops throughout the raid as long as you can get these challenges done. My raid group, for example, farmed the Taniks challenge from Deepstone Crypt a few weeks ago, and we were able to get clears done in about 3 to 4 minutes. Getting double chests every single time. It's pretty solid. I won't be showing every challenge in this video and how to do it, as it would make this long video about twice as long, but there are tons of awesome challenge guide videos out there that you can go check out. The main purpose of this video is obviously to show you how to get the patterns to craft all the guns. So there are also a few guaranteed ways to get red borders from these raids every week, which I will be going over in each raid section. I'll also mention that I'll be giving trait recommendations here, along with each raid's best weapons to go for if you're just looking for the best stuff. And any trait recommendations I do recommend, I will always recommend going with the enhanced trait options since obviously they're just better. But at the end of the day, I will leave it up to you to decide whether it's worth it or not. At most, you're looking at a 5 to 10% overall improvement, but let's be honest, the most important part is getting that golden border around your gun for masterworking it. Lots of setup, I know, but now that we have all the context we need, let's move on to the raids. The first raid we'll be tackling is Deepstone Crypt. It's an extremely easy raid and a lot of fun, in my opinion. First, let's go over what weapons we've got to go for here. Trusty is a rapid-fire solar scout rifle. Succession is an aggressive kinetic sniper rifle. Heritage is a precision kinetic shotgun. Posterity is a precision arc hand cannon. Bequest is an adaptive arc sword. And finally, Commemoration is the adaptive void machine gun. As for where these weapons drop, the first encounter, Crypt Security, can get you the Trusty. Atrax 1 can drop Succession and Heritage. Rapture can drop Posterity, and finally Taniks can drop Bequest, Commemoration, or of course the raid exotic solar rocket launcher, Eyes of Tomorrow, but we're not worried about that. In this raid, you'll also have 2 secret chests you can get. The first one is in the frozen wasteland area's starting encounter right at the very end. Instead of going through this tunnel to go to the next area, just hop over to the right and follow this path. The second secret chest is in the jumping puzzle after the Atrax 1 fight. You literally cannot miss it. This is the least secret chest in the entire game. And finally, once per week, account-wide, you can purchase a single red border of any weapon of your choice for 20 Spoils of Conquest after defeating the final boss. Spoils of Conquest drop from raid encounter completions, and 20 is pretty easy to get. You get 5 spoils per encounter if it's a pinnacle raid, or 3 per encounter if it's not a pinnacle raid. So just completing the Deepstone Crypt on pinnacle weeks will get you enough spoils to buy something here. My recommendation, either wait until Deepstone Crypt is the weekly pinnacle raid so you can get all the challenges done, or wait until the challenge is either copies of copies or the core 4, then do the raid like normal and farm these challenges for the weapons they drop in each encounter. These are both very easy challenges and can be done in about 2 to 3 minutes each, so this is your best bet at getting those red border weapons. So even with pretty easy challenges to farm, Deepstone is definitely the toughest raid to get all the patterns done for, as there are just not a lot of drop opportunities compared to other raids. Getting your 1 red border per week for 20 spoils is going to be crucial in the long run. Just slow and steady wins the race. Alright, let's move on to the weapons, starting with the Bray Inheritance Origin trait. This trait is found on every Deepstone Crypt weapon, and it's pretty straightforward and it's actually pretty good. Just doing damage with any of these weapons regenerates ability energy. This is pretty good, it's nice, you don't have to think about it too much. In my opinion, it pairs really good with so many of these weapons and the roles that I'd recommend, so let's talk about those real quick. Starting with the Trusty, since this can be used in both PvE and PvP, you can either pick one to craft or just craft 2, it's up to you. For PvE, I will craft Reconstruction and Incandescent. Reconstruction will get this magazine to over 30 rounds, which allows Incandescent to easily burn everything because you'll be reloading less. I think Trusty will be a go-to for Grandmasters for me. I'm really excited to craft this. As for PvP, I'm going to be going with Perpetual Motion and Opening Shot. Perpetual will make everything feel snappy as long as you're in motion, of course, and Opening Shot will help make locking onto other Guardians a bit easier. We'll cover Succession next, which in my opinion is an incredible PvE sniper, and I'd recommend getting one for when linear fusions get nerfed in Lightfall, which yes, it is happening. You'll want to go with Reconstruction and Firing Line here. Reconstruction is going to get your mag up to 6, and Firing Line will bump up your damage by 20% when near allies, which is pretty much all the time when you're doing any sort of boss damage. The Heritage Shotgun should 100% be crafted with Reconstruction and Focus Fury. If you can craft this exact role with a range frame, enhanced traits, and masterwork it when you get it to level 20, you'll have 100 range on this shotgun. Heritage is arguably the best kinetic PvE shotgun in the game right now. I don't like throwing around that term a lot, but it really is. You get 12 slugs per magazine at max Reconstruction, and Focus Fury will boost your damage by 20% after half the mag is dealt as precision damage. What's cool about this is Focus Fury doesn't factor in the extra shots we get from Reconstruction, so you only need to fire off 3 shots to proc it, meaning 9 shots are going to be buffed with 20% extra damage as long as you are continuously shooting that target. It's really good. Next, we've got the Posterity Hand Cannon, and yes, it does get Volt Shot and Rampage. I can't wait to craft this. Volt Shot is already a top 2 ad clear trait, and Rampage will increase all the damage you do, up to 33%. For this one, I'm going to be using a reload speed masterwork here. Most of the time, your frame masterwork choice doesn't matter too much, but here I'd recommend going with the reload speed since Volt Shot does need a reload to proc, so with Volt Shot you will be reloading quite a bit. Commemoration, the machine gun has a few rolls that could be pretty good depending on what you want out of it. I'm going to be going for Reconstruction and Repulsor Brace. Reconstruction will get the mag to over 100, and Repulsor Brace should keep overshields up pretty easily when synergized correctly with Void builds. You could go with Subsistence and Killing Tally if you wanted to as well. Overall, a pretty good PvE machine gun with multiple rolls that you can go with. Lastly, we've got the Bequest. I like Unrelenting and Chain Reaction here. Rapid kills will get you health regeneration, and each kill will cause an elemental explosion. So this is going to mean really easy healing, which is really good when you're getting up close and personal to a lot of enemies because you're using a sword. With how difficult it is to get Deepstone patterns done, I would say just make sure you're focusing on one at a time, get that one pattern done. You're going to want to choose either between Heritage, Succession, Posterity, or Trusty. In my opinion, they're about the same level of awesome, so just pick whichever one you want. You can't go wrong. And that is the Deepstone Crypt weapons. Let's move on to Vow of the Disciple. You have 6 really awesome looking weapons to get out of this raid. Deliverance, the Precision Frame Stasis Fusion Rifle, Insidious, the Aggressive Arc Pulse Rifle, Lubre's Ruin, the Adaptive Solar Glaive, Submission, the Lightweight Kinetic SMG, Cataclysmic, the Precision Solar Linear Fusion Rifle, and finally, Forbearance, the Waveframe Arc Grenade Launcher. Spoiler alert, we've got some bangers here. Just like Deepstone, each encounter has a specific loot pool. You of course have the chance of getting armor here too, but let's just go over the weapon drops here. Acquisition, the first encounter can drop Submission, Deliverance, and Cataclysmic. The Caretaker encounter can drop Submission, Insidious, Cataclysmic, and Forbearance. Exhibition can drop Submission or Deliverance, and Rolk can drop Insidious, Forbearance, Lubre's Ruin, or of course the Raid Exotic Pulse Rifle, Collective Obligation, but again, we're not worried about the exotic. And just like Deepstone Crypt, you have 2 secret chests to go for in this raid. The first chest is right at the beginning encounter where you're escorting the shuttle. Nothing special here, just go in this room here and open the chest, that's it. The second chest is a bit more out of the way. This is during the jumping puzzle, and by this point you're probably familiar with how to do the jumping puzzle. Instead of going the direction the game wants you to, there's a side area that you'll have to go to, so just follow the direction that I'm going, go over these jumps, and then you'll get to the chest. So those are the 2 secret chests, and again, just like Deepstone, you'll have the ability to purchase a red border weapon of your choice once you defeat Rolk. And just a reminder that you'll only be able to purchase a weapon if you've already found it. And again, you can only purchase this one red border once per week account-wide, so you cannot do this 3 times per week using each of your characters. Moving on, you will of course have challenges tied to each encounter. However, my recommendation is to not grind these challenges. Obviously, go for them if you want, but these challenges are a huge pain compared to the Deepstone Crypt ones. But, unlike Deepstone Crypt, you also have the ability to get a free red border weapon every week, on top of the one you can buy for spoils. This is the super secret red border chest. Doing this is fairly simple. You'll first need to shoot the 3 darkness crystals in the opening escort encounter. The first one is in the very first escort area here, just outside the cave. The second one is in the second area behind this darkness structure area. And the third one is underneath this bridge in the third area. Once all 3 of these are shot, 3 symbols will be revealed to you right when you enter the pyramid. Write down what these symbols are in your Discord, on paper, anything, just memorize these symbols. These are actually the same symbols that you'll be using to complete this raid, so you should know what these symbols are by now. A random 3 out of the 9 possible symbols will appear, and each symbol correlates to a location within the raid. You'll need to shoot these darkness crystals to open the hidden doors, which will then allow you to shoot the symbols that were given to you. Each symbol is always going to be in the same spot, so if you can memorize their locations, finding the 3 that you need should only add an extra 1 to 2 minutes in your raid. They're not that far out of the way. Also, the symbol on the wall will be blank at first. Once you shoot it, it's going to activate and reveal the symbol to you. Activating the 3 symbols that are revealed to you will unlock this additional red border chest at the end of the raid, and also if you shoot the wrong one, you can just shoot it again to deactivate it. You'll be totally fine. I did film all of these locations for all the darkness crystals and symbols, but this video is already getting so long, so what I'm going to do instead is include this graphic. I'm not sure who made this. If you know who made this, you can go ahead and say that. I'll pin it in a comment, that way you can give them credit. But either way, this does give you a good enough description of where these are, and if you really can't find them, there are other videos that will show you this. I just want to keep this video as short as possible. Once the correct 3rd symbol is shot, you'll see the raid has accepted your offering. This is when you know you've shot all 3 correctly. If you don't see this text, you either missed one, or you shot the wrong one, or you shot an extra one. You can only shoot the 3 there. If you shoot 4, you're not going to get this chest. So just be mindful of which ones you're shooting. My team likes to have a dedicated person doing this, just so we don't mess up. As for getting this chest, you do have to defeat Rolk, and the chest will just drop a weapon for you. There is no bad luck protection here, so if you already have a pattern completed, you might get that same weapon again, which is kind of unfortunate. But this raid is fun, so it's all good. You're going to run it anyway. Alright, let's talk about the weapons now, starting with the Soul Drinker origin trait. Soul Drinker will be on every one of these weapons, and it will allow you to gain health based on the number of hits you got before reloading. Don't think about this too hard, don't save your reloads, just play normally and you'll be getting small bursts of healing as you play. It's a really nice origin trait that pretty much passively helps you stay alive, since you'll always be shooting people and you'll always be reloading. As for the weapons themselves, what roles should you be crafting? For Insidious, I'd recommend going with either Compulsive Reloader or Rapid Hit and Rampage for PvP. A lot of players like this pulse rifle. I'll admit I don't have mine crafted yet, but that is what I'm going to be going for. As for submission, in my opinion, it's a good PvP SMG. Kinetic primary weapons generally have a tough time hanging with energy primaries in PvE. I'll pick an Ekalos SMG, Callus Mini Tool, Funnel Web any day over this thing in PvE. Deliverance is one of my favorite fusion rifles in the entire game, and I always have it equipped when I'm running Stasis. This thing is incredible. Demolitionist in the left column will get your grenade back within about 4 kills, and Chill Clip will apply slow to enemies, perfectly synergizing with Stasis. Cataclysmic is the DPS king in a lot of scenarios. The god roll here is 4th time's the charm and bait and switch. However, not everyone likes swapping weapons to proc bait and switch, so if you're one of these people, just go with 4th time's the charm and focused fury. Forbearance is next, and it happens to be my favorite special ammo weapon when I'm running ARC. This weapon is an ad clearing machine, and in my opinion, you've got 2 options for crafting here: Unrelenting and Chain Reaction, or Ambitious Assassin and Chain Reaction. I prefer Unrelenting in the left column because it makes it incredibly easy to heal, but Ambitious can get you 2 grenades in the mag, so go with whatever you prefer here. And finally, you've got Lubre's Ruin. I'm not a huge glaive player, but there are some really crazy DPS builds that you can make with them. In my opinion here, I'm going to be going with Grave Robber and Unrelenting for PvE. Grave Robber does work with glaives, so whacking and killing enemies is going to reload your glaive ammo, and Unrelenting is nice since you'll heal while stabbing enemies. So what should you be getting first? Well, I would say go either Forbearance or Cataclysmic first. Forbearance is just so much fun, it's such a good weapon, and getting your Cataclysmic done will get you the highest DPS gun in the game, like I said, in many encounters. After that, you can get your Deliverance and then go with whatever else you have remaining. And that's the Vow of the Disciple weapons. Do you guys agree with my picks here? Let me know. Let's move on to King's Fall. The 3rd and final current craftable weapon raid. Let's get into it. King's Fall is very similar to Vow, so I'm not going to go too much into detail explaining stuff here, but let's get into what weapons we have to hunt for first. Doom of Chelchis is the Precision Void Scout Rifle, Smite of Moraine is the Adaptive Kinetic Pulse Rifle, Zauli's Bane is the Adaptive Solar Hand Cannon, Mita's Reckoning is the High Impact Arc Fusion Rifle, Defiance of Yasmin is the Adaptive Kinetic Sniper, and finally, Quillam's Terminus is the High Impact Stasis Machine Gun. And as for where these weapons can drop, both the Gate Encounter and Totems can drop the Doom of Chelchis and Quillam's Terminus. The War Priest can drop Smite of Moraine, Defiance of Yasmin, and Quillam's Terminus. Golgoroth can drop Doom of Chelchis, Zauli's Bane, Mita's Reckoning, or Quillam's Terminus. Daughters drop Doom of Chelchis, Smite of Moraine, Zauli's Bane, and Defiance of Yasmin. And finally, Oryx can drop every weapon along with a Touch of Malice exotic scout rifle. And I feel like I just have to say this every time, each one of these encounters can also drop armor instead of these guns. King's Fall has 3 secret chests this time, and most are pretty easy to get. The first one is right after the first big jumping puzzle area. Instead of going through the open force field area, just jump off to the left here. Then have 2 fire team members remain on the 2 plates at the beginning to keep the door open. Once they're on the plates, you can go through this door to access the secret chest. Then just have 2 of the members that have already crossed stand on the other 2 plates. It's as easy as that. Getting to the next secret chest is kind of difficult to describe, so I'm just going to show this amazing graphic by Blake Robinson. It's the one that I use in my Discord. This secret chest is in Golgoroth's cellar right after the War Priest fight. What you'll need to do is step on all these platforms in the correct order, which are conveniently marked in this graphic, and that will open the gate that contains the secret chest. If a plate ever glows red, you've done something wrong. Just have everyone hop off and then try again in the correct order. It can get pretty dark in there, but you've got it. It's not that bad. And the third secret chest is right after the Golgoroth fight in the second jumping puzzle area. You'll want to whip out your ghost here. It'll light up a secret path for you. Just follow along and you'll be just fine. And just like the other 2 raids, you will have challenges to do. I don't recommend doing this. It's easy enough with how many drops there are in this raid, along with the other methods that I'll talk about here in a second. Once you beat Oryx, you'll of course have the chance to buy whatever red border you want, assuming you've found that weapon at least once. That's the 20 Spoils of Conquest one. And yes, you do have another super secret, guaranteed red border chest here in King's Fall. I don't know why they didn't add this in Deepstone, but hey, we've got it in King's Fall. What you'll need to do for this is head underneath the gate at the very start of the raid. You can do this after you beat the first encounter or before. It doesn't matter. It's just nice to get this out of the way so you don't forget about it on accident. Going underneath the gate, you'll see 3 symbols. Just like Vow of the Disciple, there are 9 possible symbols that all correlate to a specific spot in the raid. So whatever 3 are shown for you are the ones you have to go find in the raid. Again, make sure to write down somewhere which symbols have appeared and shoot them when you see them. It's okay to shoot the wrong symbol, just like Vow. Just make sure you disable it by shooting again if it is the wrong one. Alright, so where are these symbols? Since these symbols don't really have a good name for them, if you have a name, then that's fine. We just number them 1 through 9. Alright, post-editing Kothis coming in again. I did record all of these, but it just added like 4 minutes to the video, and I'm trying to keep this video short, so instead I'm going to include this amazing graphic. I don't know who to credit this to, so let me know down in the comments if you do know who made this. But either way, these descriptions are fine enough. These are not far out of the way at all in this raid, and if you really are struggling, I will try to include a video for you in the description. If all the correct symbols are shot, you will see that the offering has been accepted along with a satisfying ding sound. You'll need to kill Oryx to get this chest, and remember, it is a random red border. You cannot pick which one you want out of this chest. With how many encounters there are in King's Fall, I managed to fully complete this weapon's patterns in 19 clears. The red border drops seem more generous in this one than Deepstone Crypt for me. Maybe it's just my luck. I don't know. But either way, this is not too bad to get every single pattern done. Alright, let's move on to the weapons here in King's Fall. What do you need to craft? First, let's cover the origin trait, Runneth Over. This origin trait is pretty awesome. Reloading around teammates will overflow the magazine, and this effect is greater the more allies that are around you, stacking up to 5 times. If you see Runneth Over on your buff list, you'll know that it's active. Don't worry about reloading near allies too much, like don't try to go out of your way to do it. Just think of it as a nice mag boost that has a really good uptime when you're running with a group. As for the weapons specifically, for Doom of Chelchis, you'll want to go for One for All and Explosive Payload. This is an awesome combo that is unique to this weapon. I really love using this one in Grandmaster Nightfalls anytime I need a void weapon. Scouts are always solid, they're always in the artifact, and this combo can ramp up in damage with One for All really easily. Smite of Moraine is a go-to pulse rifle for me in PvP. I really like the moving target and Eye of the Storm roll. If you throw on the full auto setting on your controller, it just feels really good. For Zali's Bane, go with Explosive Payload and Incandescent for PvE. It's not the best gun to get out of the bunch, but in my opinion, this is the strongest roll for this gun. Defiance of Yasmin is an amazing PvP sniper. You'll want to go with the tried and true snapshot and opening shot for this one. I'm a terrible sniper in PvP. I'm just not good at PvP in general, but anytime I do snipe, I use this weapon. If you like sniping, this will probably be your favorite sniper for sure. Mita's Reckoning gets a pretty memey roll combo. Unrelenting is what I'd pick in the left column, and Reservoir Burst is what you really should use in the right column. Reservoir Burst basically does this massive explosion as long as the magazine is at or over its original max capacity. So with Runneth Over, you can reload near allies to get lots of extra shots loaded, and all of them will have Reservoir Burst. It's pretty amazing actually. And finally, our last weapon is Quillam's Terminus. This is not a super exciting gun, which is unfortunate because I really like this gun in Destiny 1. I have mine ready to be masterworked, but it's just not interesting enough for me to use resources on it right now. Either way, I'll eventually be putting Unrelenting and Headstone on it to go with a potential stasis build. I don't know. Alright, so what are the best weapons out of this bunch? If you're big into PvP, like I said, Defiance of Yasmin, just get this one done first. It's awesome. If you're not that into PvP, go with Doom of Chelchis. It's my favorite Void Scout in the game, and it just looks and sounds so cool. Really, all of these weapons do. After that, I'd go with the Smite of Moraine to get yourself a solid PvP pulse rifle, and the other three really aren't great, but get them if you're a completionist like me. Alright, this video was way longer than I thought it would be, but I'm glad that I made it. I'll be honest, the red border farm can get pretty monotonous and frustrating with long non-red border streaks. It's annoying, we've all been there. I'm curious to see if we see any changes to the current system when Lightfall drops, but we'll just have to wait and see. Well, guys, we just have one more part to the Crafting Everything series, and I would assume it's not going to be this long, but we'll see. I really hoped this helped you guys out, and as I mentioned in the beginning, if you're looking for a place to raid, I've got you. Our Discord is really good, it's really fun. I love taking people through raids. We have a bunch of really helpful people there. Or if you just want to talk about Destiny stuff, just join up. We talk all the time. You can join using the link in the description. Everyone, let me know what you thought in the comments below, but that's all I've got for today. I will see you all in the next video.